Hi y'all, it is Lucy here, and welcome back to another video of mine. In today's video, we are going to do some prepping for ARTFIGHT, which if you don't know what ARTFIGHT is, I didn't really know what it was until a couple of months either. Decided to do it this month because of some of my friends, so shout out to them. But simple terms, it's a website that you can create like a profile and characters, and then you are on teams, and for the entire month of July you fight, and you can attack players, which is basically meaning that you're going to draw their OCs, and then they can fight back, or you can do mass attacks. There's like a bunch of things to it, but basically that's the premise, and I thought it'd be really fun to do it this year. So this video is just kind of showing you the prep work I did to prepare for ARTFIGHT, so let's go. Okay, so the first thing I did was create my profile picture. I'm doing kind of my persona, which I've never actually drawn my persona before, like in this way. I was kind of creating a new persona. I was kind of combining a bunch of different ideas I've done in the past. I haven't really had a persona lately. I've kind of just me, but I thought it would be fun for ARTFIGHT to kind of give a character that people could actually design. They could actually like let people draw. So I played around with a lot of things. So she's kind of inspired by me. She's kind of inspired by some past characters I've done. You can see here, I did a little chibi character, and I'm drawing her out right now. I'm kind of doing the refined sketch. I've talked about this in previous videos, but I hate doing line art, and so I kind of do more of like a cleaned up sketch. It's more fun for me, and art's about being fun, right? And so where possible, I don't do clean line art. So I'm kind of going in with a little bit more of a refined sketch here. And you can see I'm adding in some goggles. This right here is where I was kind of like, I want to play around with the look of my character a little bit. A couple years ago, I had a persona that was very like steampunky, and I really liked it. And so I kind of wanted to keep those vibes. So I thought like a cute little goggles. I have in the past used the term like the creator kind of as my name rather than an artist, because I like to, I do all sorts of crafts. And so I'm kind of imagining this, the creator. She's got the goggles, she's got the rainbow hair, which is kind of like my little pieces that I have. I change my hair color a lot, so it felt fitting to do it rainbow, change it up, and it's kind of fun. She's wearing kind of like a little lab coat thing, and she's got some gloves on, and yeah, so I was just kind of going in and doing this little chibi. I've also got the background purple, which is just because, purple is my favorite color. You can see here I'm starting to go in with the shading, which I didn't do anything too crazy with the shading. And yeah, so that's my cute little profile picture. And just waiting for the ads to finish. Yippee! Okay, so the next thing I drew was my very first character. So my first character that I drew was a character called Sarah Bouchinier. I'll give you guys a little bit of lore about my story real quick, because maybe that'll entice you to go follow my ARTFIGHT profile, maybe draw some of my characters. She is an alien, basically. She is an alien, part of this alien group that kind of lives in this realm off of planet Earth, where they have these magical abilities, and they can do things like create portals and shields. They can move things, they have all these abilities, and she is one of like the elite top 5, and along with that they get access to these crystals, these elemental crystals that give them special abilities. So Sarah is the electric one, so she can use electricity, stuff like that, and when they get access to these crystals, when they get assigned them, their eye color also changes to match, because it's very typical for Niffidians to have purple eyes because it matches their magical color, but once their magic obviously changes, so does the color of their eyes. So that's kind of a little bit of a lore. It's a very big, deep lore that I'd love to turn into books one of these days, but we're kind of playing around with it a little bit in ARTFIGHT because all of my characters are the top 5. So Sarah is the electric, as I said. She kind of has more of an alt, a little bit goth, but not really, fashion style. I forgot to mention they come down to Earth, all 5 of these, so that's why they're comfortable with like human clothing. She's got kind of a shaggy wolf cut, was my hope, my thought process, and she's a little bit more of like a flamboyant character. She's very sarcastic, she's very funny, very high energy, all those kind of things. And I'm trying to think of some other things. You can see right here kind of my style starting to come through. I did the line art, I did the color. She has red hair. Something you will notice is she has a tattoo. All of my characters have a tattoo right there. It's kind of like a symbol of their culture that all of them get tattoos representing their status in society. And so all of my characters have, it's a star version of the tattoo because they call themselves the Sky Guardians, or like the stars, like they, you know, they're above the rest, but they're not like sun status, if that makes sense. You can see here I'm starting to kind of go in with some rendering. I have a struggle when I render to want to make everything very warm toned, and so my original thing for her was that she was going to be very cool pale toned, but she ended up looking a lot more warm toned in the final thing than I originally went with, because I just tend to make things very warm. I like warm, vibrant colors. I tend to attract to that. And so, you know, in the future, I should explore better how to do skin tones where it doesn't feel like it's changing the color of the skin tone. But, yep, you can see here she's starting to come together. She's got a bunch of jewelry, a bunch of fun stuff. And, yeah, let's move on to the next character. The next character I drew was one of my favorite characters. His name is Lucas Trevino. I've drawn him a couple other times. So a bunch of these characters was actually my first time ever drawing them and seeing them as like a piece of art, not just a concept in my head. Sarah I've drawn once or twice, but Lucas was as a character I draw all the time, and this is the first time that I feel like I've really actually captured his essence, and I was very excited about that. I struggled a lot with the face though, because I did a side view. Something you'll notice with all of my characters, I keep saying I'm sorry, is that I kind of did like different facial features, so it kind of looks, it's the capability of like moving back and forth, which you'll see in my final profile when I show you, is kind of, I did like a GIF, so it was on purpose, GIF, however you say it, so I did it on purpose. So his was a side profile, and side profiles are hard, and drawing guys are hard for me, so I struggled with the face a lot, but once I got it, and I was really proud of it, and I think it really looked good. I'm especially proud of the hair. That was so much fun to do, and it just turned out so good. So a little bit about him. He is, again, one of those top 5 guardians. He's very powerful, you know. He is best friends with Sarah, so they're both very joking and sarcastic and funny, but he's a little bit better at kind of being serious when he needs to be serious, you know. And he is the water element, so he can use the water, and he kind of along lines with that tends to be able to be better at healing because he can control water, which is, you know, really great for healing. Something I forgot to mention with Sarah is her main weapon of choice. She uses like a dual wielding sword, so she uses 2 swords. He is all long range weapons, specifically a bow, but he is pretty good at like guns and, you know, sniper rifles, things like that. But he is very long range. Sarah's very dual wielding. That's what she uses. Yeah. I'm not talking a lot about my drawing, so you can see here I'm starting rendering again. There's like a random freaking brown line up on the top of his hair that bugs me, but I'm pretty sure I fixed that at some point. A lot of my characters also have a bunch of earrings. That's like a very cultural thing of, they're called Nephedians, the aliens of this Nephedian culture. And so you'll notice that multiple of them have lots of piercings, or all of them, they all have lots of piercings, because that's just a cultural thing of theirs. And yeah, that's Lucas Trevino. While we're letting some videos load, I gotta show you, look how cute. I got a tattoo. It's like 3 years old. It's my baby. 3 years old? 3 days old. And I love it. So, yeah. The next character I did was Maria Bourbon. You can see she is also a side profile, but for some reason I struggled with her far less than I did with Lucas's. Maybe it's just because I did Lucas's first, so when I moved on to hers, I was like in the zone, you know, I was like ready. She has kind of longer hair, as you can see. She is the fire element, which you can maybe tell by the red background. She is a little bit more of a serious character than the others. She's very to the point. She believes a lot in order and following rules, and she kind of has a rough relationship with all of them. That goes a lot into the lore, which I'm not really expanding upon a ton in my ARTFIGHT profile, but there's a whole story to it where she's a little bit more estranged to the other characters than they're all very close-knit except for her. But yeah, so she's a little bit more of like a leader in a sense. She's got more of that kind of straight to the point, follow the rules kind of vibe. Yeah, that's basically her. Hers did not take me a long time to draw. I came to it pretty easily, so. Okay, the next character of mine was Lilith Shadows, which is by far my favorite character, and she is the main character of the series, which if you know my old profile name was Lilith Shadows, that's where this comes from, is that profile. So that's kind of fun fact. I have drawn her a lot. She has gone through a lot of different variations, but this is, I think, hopefully kind of her final, because I like it. I'm really proud of it. She is the princess of Nefidi, and she is the leader of this little group of warriors. So she doesn't have an element to her, but she is just very magically adept and powerful. Purple is kind of her main color because Nefidian's main color is purple, so it leans into that. I love her hair. She's got the kind of fun purple money pieces. She's got some blonde ends. I don't know, she's a little bit more of a straightforward character than some, but she's still got some funny side. She's like a very sweet, empathetic person. Like she's very caring of others, which makes her a good leader sometimes, and sometimes not, because she lets it get in the way of her getting done what needs to get done. But yeah, she was another character that came to me pretty fast, probably just because I have drawn her so many times. It wasn't as much like, well, how do I want that? Do I want it this way? It was very straightforward. I even traced a previous drawing I've done of her a little bit for the face, just because it saves time, and I liked the way that face looked. And it also was a 3/4 quarter view angle, which when I draw those, that tends to be the quickest for me, because it's not, symmetrical on both sides, and it's also not a side profile. So it was a nice happy medium. And so yeah, she was pretty easy. Let's move on to the next character. Alright, the final character I did is Max Whither. He is the earth holding element, hence the green look. And I did a front-facing profile so that, I'm continuing the movement that I'm trying to do with all my characters. This is not the first time, I guess this is the second time, but basically the first time I have ever drawn this character. And so I had to do a lot of planning on what I wanted him to look like, which was kind of done beforehand, so you don't see it here, but it took me a while to kind of come to a conclusion on what I liked. While I'm here, I will talk about the fact that all of my characters actually have Pinterest boards, so if you decide to attack me, you should check out their Pinterest boards, because it has their fashion and their style. And I haven't been talking about the weapons for the last few, have I? So let's do that. Maria is like a magic wielder. She uses a staff. She's very adept in magic. Lily is a little bit more, she uses a lot of kick style fighting, but also a sword. And Max uses what is called a chakram, which is basically like the circular thing that can split in half. It's cool, you should look it up. And yeah, he is a very quiet character. He's kind of very shy and a little bit less a part of the group, but still there. But yeah, that's Max Whither. Now that I was done with the characters, I could go in and make my little profile thing, which you can find this like on their website. You can click on a thing and you can download it. So I'm Team Mystery, and I did my little profile picture, which is again just of my little OC, my little persona that I did at the very beginning. So drawing her just not in a chibi style anymore, but a little bit more of my style. Still like it's more simplified of my style, but a little bit more up there than a chibi. So you can see I'm doing that. It's also, I kind of downloaded it and it was a little blurry. I could have made it less blurry, but I kind of left it that way because it forced me to be a little more simple on her thing. So you can see me using my chibi I did earlier as reference to kind of get her look right, and went ahead and did that. I played around a lot with like how I wanted her to fit in the circle, so that was a little bit of a thing I had to play around with. And yeah, and then I kind of filled out the information about me, and then I was trying to plan out how I wanted to do the characters. At first, I was going to draw chibi versions of all of my characters here, which I'm glad I didn't, because I just don't think that would have looked as good, but you can see me kind of starting to try to map out what I was going to do. And then I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to do that. And so then I kind of scrapped the chibis and I went ahead and did my first character. I went ahead and did Sarah, and I really liked the way that looked. And so I decided to continue that. So you can see me planning out like what poses I want for the rest of the characters, where I want them laying, their color and their background. And then I just slowly started filling in the characters as I drew them until I got a nice, cute little profile card. So, yay! The last little thing I did as a plus is some of my characters, I went ahead and did these little sheets like this with like their color and their full body, if I had their full body, but not all of them got that far because I didn't get to it because I ran out of time. But some of them got them. So when I'm recording this video, actually it is the first day of ARTFIGHT. It's July 1st, and it sounds like it's basically something that happens every year where the website is down for the first couple days because there's so many people trying to access it. So I don't have an easy way to screen record and show you my final profile, but I do have an old video that I made of myself like recording when I first did it on my phone. So I'm gonna show you that. So you can see it there. You can see my little profile picture. You can see my name, Lucy Creates. That's how you can find me. So you got my little profile picture with my persona. You got my little card that I did. I have an About Me page that just tells you who I am, the kind of characters I like. I've got some of my fellow friends that are on ARTFIGHT that you should check out. And I got my GIF that I finished so you can see the vision of my characters. You can access my online portfolio, which you should check out for sure. And also then you can access my characters at the bottom. All of those characters we just shown, they've got their pictures, they've got other artwork I've done of them. I've got some sheets of like their weapons. I've got their Pinterest boards that has fashion to help inspire you for like outfits and play around with them. I've also got a little bit of some stats, so like height, hair color, weapons to kind of help you draw them and understand them better, a short description of who they are, and then the relations to my other characters. So it's really easy to find the information about all of them, and you know, pick one you like and you should draw one for me, and I will totally fight you back. So you should go check me out and find a character that you like. You can do it on their story or you can do it purely based on their vibes. I don't really care. I'm not picky. I'm just excited to get to do this for the first year. So I hope you enjoyed this video of me prepping for ARTFIGHT, and hopefully I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks showing you all of the fights that I got to this year. So bye!